Welcome to Gold Star Classroom, the podcast where our panelists go back to school. We'll grade them on their answers to a variety of general knowledge and trivia questions. They don't know what we're going to ask, and we don't know what they're going to say. The student with the highest grade at the end of the class will win the coveted classroom prize, the Golden Banana. I'm your host and headmaster, Professor Jerry Jaffe. Welcome to today's episode of Gold Star Classroom. I'm your professor and host, Dr. Jerry Jaffe. It's my pleasure to introduce you to today's class. Sitting on my left is comedian and sports announcer, Bill Boronkay.
Creepiest professor I have ever had. Thank you for taking that title.
Well, I do have 3 creep marks on Rate Your Professor.
Just 3?
Just 3.
All right, we're going to get that up a little.
And sitting directly across from me is actor and comedian Mark Riccadonna. Yes, that is exactly how he sounds in real life, too. And sitting on my right is the co-host of VH1's That Metal Show, Don Jameson.
What's going on? I'm always trying to keep it metal, and that's it.
Well, you keep it metal, and I'll keep it educational.
All right.
It'll be educationally metally or metally educational. All right, and it's my job as your teacher to quiz you across the range of human learning and knowledge. And as any good teacher would, I will, of course, grade your answers. Is the class ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to go.
I don't see the rest.
I'm a college graduate. Let's go.
All
All right,
right.
enough of the bragging.
Let's
do this.
From one college
Rutgers Scarlet
graduate
Knights.
to another, I expect us to dominate this
I
class.
have a feeling we will.
All right. I have
Why are they
a,
ganging up?
I don't know. I can barely got through high school, so if I win,
let me ask you this question. This is a name from 20th century American history. If you happen to know it, extra bonus points, but it's also going to open a whole can of worms of other questions I want to ask. But I want to just start with his name and see if you've heard of this person. George Hensley.
Yes, that was he played.
I knew that's where you're going.
Yeah, he was on that.
amen. And
That's Sherman,
Yeah,
but I like
Sherman.
where you're going.
he was the guy.
He wasn't on the Jeffersons.
No.
Oh!
All right.
All
Beer and
right.
the cheese.
Just like all my classrooms, beer spilling.
Yes. Well, you know, the class hasn't started until a beer's been spilt.
There you
Well,
go.
let's see. Break
All
it
right.
down. Hemsley. What is that?
Well, it's Hensley, Hensley. George Hensley. George
So
Hensley.
Now here's a dumb thing. I get really confused on century. 20th century.
20th
So what's-
century. That's the century that World Wars I and II took place
That's when
in.
you grew up.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's the century you were born in, Mark.
All right.
Minus 5 points for not knowing what century you were born in.
Wow, I don't know that I've seen anyone go backwards right away.
I'm negative points.
So,
It's
George,
like golf, though, to me.
if George
Low score
Hensley
wins.
is a new name, I'm going to give you some clues here. Do
I'm
you
gonna say
know?
he's German.
Well, George Hensley is a old-timey minister. He's evangelical, Pentecostal, and he is the minister who first suggested this unusual and even dangerous practice. Bill has an
I
answer.
was thinking he started the TV ministry thing.
TV ministry, another dangerous practice.
That's what I'm saying.
But no,
He's the one that started cutting wieners.
no, that goes back to
That's a
the.
bris.
Yeah,
That's a
goes,
moil, not a minister.
Well, it didn't really catch on with his
Yeah.
I'm
religion,
gonna
but
say
he was
that's,
still trying.
Ministers do other things with little penises. Sorry.
that goes back to Abraham. In
I
fact,
think
both
you
of
should
those
get bonus
things
points
go
for
back
that,
to.
by the way.
Yeah, I'm already. Yeah, I'm
All right. Well,
already up.
Bill has given you 5 of his points, so now
Okay.
you have 5, and
Wait.
he has minus 5.
I'm right there with you. Kicking ass.
He is the founder of the modern 20th century practice of Pentecostal snake handling.
Oh.
Well, I was kind of right. Snake handling.
Well, his snakes are the kind that bite you in the face. No comment required.
Oh,
Let's move
yeah.
on.
One-
Yeah,
is
make
that the
your
one
own
that
joke
just
at
got
home.
bitten recently?
Yeah.
And then his daughter. Then
Now
the
it's a
daughter
reality
get bitten
show.
too.
Yeah, the sun.
It's a reality show now.
Well,
Yeah.
the
I'm missing out on some quality.
snake
TV.
handling Pentecostals continue to get bitten by snakes. That's
No
true.
way.
But George Hensley died in 1955.
From
A snake bite.
there we go.
Yes, he was Satan.
He lived to be 75, and he claimed to have been bitten by snakes over 400 times without harm. And then
That's
I
not
guess
a really
he's-
good record.
He's counting like probably gartered snakes, and, you know.
Yeah,
That
they don't count.
doesn't count.
in the service that led to his demise, he was not only handling the snakes, but what they do is they like rub them on your face, and I mean they get very intimate with these snakes because they think it's an act of faith. They think it's an act of faith because of
After the 400th bite.
as a well, to their worldview, if you've been bitten 400 times by poisonous snakes and not died,
You're
maybe
an
God
idiot.
likes you.
Oh,
Well-
God likes you.
The listening audience can draw their own conclusions about synonyms, but from their worldview,
But Snake 401.
Yeah.
there is, of course, the modern practice of Pentecostal snake handling, and George Hensley specifically goes back to a specific Bible quote. Anyone up on their Bible literature?
Thou shalt not handle snaketh
With poison.
That's another 5 off. I have to listen to this.
Yes, but he did
That's
say
a direct quote.
he did say "thou-ith" several times, so it.
He sold it well.
In fact, the Bible quote in question says the exact opposite. It says, "You shall handle snakes."
Really?
In Mark, there's a quote.
And wait, they say you're not allowed to masturbate. Maybe that's what they were talking about.
Keep this TV clean. What are you doing talking about masturbation?
In Mark, these signs shall follow them that believe, they shall take up serpents. So Hensley was obsessed with that quote as a child, and he started saying, let's do this in our churches.
Alice Cooper's a big snake handler.
He is a bit, so was the original The Sheik out of Detroit.
Jake the Snake, who your dad
Yeah.
probably
What about
wrestled,
Major
but-
League Serrano? Just saying.
There's a long history of this, yeah.
Well, there's a long history of snake handling in
Yeah.
spiritual contexts.
Yeah, Mark's thinking about another snake handling, obviously.
Yes.
And I'm
Mine
very
is
good
somewhere
at
else.
it. I handle my snake 3 or 4 times a day.
Wait a minute.
That's why you might, astute listeners at home will have noticed I've put the phrase Pentecostal snake handling every time I've said it to differentiate between
Yes.
what
But that's
Mark
not
does.
going to stop Mark.
Yes, what Mark does.
I Catholic snake handle.
Yes.
It's a very religious experience for him.
Yeah.
How common is this Pentecostal snake handling?
3-4 times a day.
Catholic snake handling.
Around the United States, there are about 40 such churches that practice
Still
today in the 21st century, which is the one after the 20th century mark, minus 5 points preemptively.
I just know the song from the Doors, 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, I give you points for that.
I got medal points.
Yeah, take that.
You can transfer those to the metal show next time. That'll work.
You can
out
redeem
well
them
for
for something on the second shelf.
I don't even get the big snake.
No?
We
plush
have
toy.
mentioned that several practitioners have died from this. So actually, in a lot of states, it's illegal now. Snake handling is illegal in a lot of states.
Well, what about religious freedom?
Interestingly,
I know an idea on that.
a
'cause it's
Pentecostal
dangerous.
leader called Jamie Coots in 2013 had published an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal complaining that their religious constitutional rights were being restricted.
Yeah, but you can't yell fire in a
I-
theater, but you can say the
Well,
word
the states
But
that
you
have
can handle your snake in the theater.
fire.
Pee-wee
No,
Herman.
Pee-wee Herman got in trouble for that.
The snake handlers, because it's forbidden, often meet in privately now, like in people's homes or backs of
That's where I
stores.
handle my
and
snake.
And so you should, please. Only in the backs of the stores, not the front of the
Right.
stores.
Or at home.
Mr. Jamie Coots, I mentioned a moment ago, about 2 months after publishing his religious freedom argument, was bitten by a
There
snake
we
and
go.
died.
God
All
has
comes
spoken.
around.
Yes.
God has spoken.
So who got points on that? Nobody, right?
I
Well-
think we took some more from him.
I got medal points.
Yeah.
You got 5 early.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow.
Yes,
I lost
I'm up.
5.
Well, at this point, Don
You're down 10.
is 5 points ahead of everyone else.
Actually, he's 10
That's for
points
sure.
ahead because we're in negatives.
Now, another minus 10 points for Bill for correcting the teacher's math.
See, you know,
I have a very complicated grading system, Bill. You don't know everything that's going on behind my desk. There's Pentecostal
I
snake
don't-
I was
handling.
about to say,
don't wanna
I'm
see
going to
what's
ring
going
out
on
as
in there.
many jokes as I can.
But I'm worried that these low grades after the first quiz question has affected classroom morale. So I have before me 101 random ways to praise children, and I'm going to randomly pick one to cheer you guys up.
All right.
You mean a lot to me. All right.
Who would say that to a kid?
you're a father.
I haven't said that yet.
No.
It may or may not go along with the Catholic snake handling Mark had mentioned earlier.
Is shut up and mow the lawn on there? 'Cause I used to hear that one a lot. That's how I knew I was loved.
Daddy loves me.
He told me to shut up and cut the grass.
I had 2 older brothers and 2 younger brothers, and none of them ever cut the grass. I was the only one that they could trick into cutting the grass.
They Tom
And
Sawyer
you
you.
fell for it for like 15
You guys
years.
are all in great shape. Are there any runners or joggers in your exercise regime? Any running, any jogging?
Yes.
I used to do the elliptical
Let me ask you this.
up to 5 minutes at a time.
Runners, this could apply to an elliptical user like yourself. Runners familiar with this expression, but this is like a colloquial expression. I want to figure out what it actually means medically. Who's ever had shin splints?
A kid on our football team used to pretend he had them, so he didn't have to run.
Right?
Is that what
I've heard of them.
Heard of them?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm
Never
not-
had it.
I'm
But
not
that's from
exactly
like running
sure
on
what it
asphalt
is.
and stuff, right? You get shin splints.
Running on asphalt is one of the contributing factors, although not the only, but it is. So
I'm leaving you guys in the
Yeah,
dust. You guys should just
Look at
leave
Dr.
now.
Jameson.
Yeah,
over
we're going
please.
to
there.
give Don a B+ for that answer.
There you go.
That's a nice answer,
Is that
sir.
where the muscles
How did
come
we
off
go?
your
And I know
shin
you're
or
gonna
something?
you're gonna take points on me
Yes.
for questioning. How did you go from numerical points to lettered points?
I have a very complicated algorithm over here, Bill.
And that's a D
Try
for
to
that
pay
I was
question.
gonna say,
Yes.
add the D to my minus
Yes.
10.
Your grade is like a Pixar film, 3D. Now, Mark did ask an intelligent question a moment ago.
No, we
So plus 5 points for Mark's intelligent question.
Wow.
In below the knee, there are 2 major bones. Nothing to do with snake handling, Mark.
There's one.
You're
major-
doing the song in your head, aren't you? Yeah, I knew it.
And after this, we'll talk about the major bone above the knee.
The tibia and the fibula. And the tibia is the front, what we call the shin.
Yes.
And that is the muscles that are attached to your shin is where you feel shin splints. So they're usually down the
So
sides
what?
of
The
your-
muscles pulling back?
Pulling away
The
from the bone
bone?
or something?
You mean, well, because shin splints is like a slang, everyday street expression, by itself it's not a medical diagnosis.
Right.
So there's like different things, but it could be pulled muscle,
You
torn
hurt your
muscle.
shoulder, you tell them, oh, I got shin
Shoulder
I got
splint.
shin splints in my shoulder.
Yeah.
Running real hard.
Don had mentioned running on asphalt. There are 2 or 3 other common causes of shin splints, and usually
Bad
involving
shoes.
running, by the way. Yes, not wearing correct shoes is a cause of shin
What
splints.
I've actually
So
heard,
points for Mark.
which surprised me, is supposedly running on a treadmill is actually worse for you.
I don't have that in my lesson plan, so I won't take away points for bringing it up.
Wow, thank you. Which surprised me. I thought it was actually
Yeah,
better.
I mean, basically,
As a gift.
And Don, you can get it if you're running with the devil.
That's right. Exactly. Everybody in Van Halen suffers from shin splints.
yes, a lot of people, everyone in Van Halen suffers from any number of ailments.
Does Haggard
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 the horrible.
What is
does he suffer because he came later?
He only suffers half as much.
How did I go Hagar? That was weird.
people who
Tibia
have
and fibula.
tibia and fibula?
Tibia
are
and
the 2
fibula.
bones, and it's the muscles around the tibia that they would irritated or swollen muscles, often from overuse. Is basically what
Sounds
shin
like
splints
a
are.
couple strippers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the main stage, Tibia and Fibula.
That's
Well-
what they were going to do when they couldn't do cars. They were going to go
Forget to get a
bones.
lap dance from phalanges.
Here comes meniscus.
Yeah.
Well, if that's sexy, wait till you hear what the proper medical term for shin splints is: medial tibial stress syndrome.
That's my heavy metal band.
That's a good name for
That
it.
is a good name,
Yeah.
actually. I think we've accomplished something.
All right. After school,
have
let's
you
start
ever
a
in
band.
gym class or on your football team, Mark, somebody has shin splints or you have shin splints? What's the number one thing that a coach says to do if you have shin splints?
Rub
Ice.
dirt on it.
Rub dirt on it sounds like a Pentecostal
Your coaches
solution.
really didn't like you very much.
Rub some dirt on it and get back in there, you pussy.
Bill did say
ice it.
icing it, and you get 10 points for that being one of the actual things you are supposed to do for shin splints.
Heat or ice, right?
No, it can't
Ice.
be heat.
Don't.
If it's ice, it can't be heat.
Well, what I do is I get ice and then pour scotch on it.
On the ice.
So you
Then
bring
drink
the
it,
Yeah.
and then your leg feels better. Yeah.
you bring the heat.
I give him 50 points for that.
The generally speaking, if you get like a sports injury, you don't apply heat right away. You might apply heat the next day, but usually you ice it first to keep the swelling down. And also to numb
Because
it a
everything
little bit.
contracts.
Yeah. But that's probably if your high school coach told you to put ice on something, you have an above average high school coach or gym teacher.
What about dirt?
Because you have...
I can't believe you're still in high school.
I know, Bill.
I'm going to get out.
Yeah.
This is his summer school. If he
You heard
passes
his
this
answers,
class...
that's why he's still there.
The thing that people that coaches who don't know better, or gym teachers who don't know better, will tell you to run it off. So you've never heard that?
Right, yeah, walk it off,
walk it off,
or
or run it off.
Yeah.
That is a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Never do that.
I think, though, they only say that because they think you're faking.
They probably say stretch.
Stretching is one of the things.
Like always a...
This is
If you go
a
to
sports
Penn
question.
State,
Turns
they
out to
say,
be right
hit
in
the
Bill's
showers.
wheelhouse.
I know. He's gaining,
That's why I'm
gaining
a big,
ground fast on
That's why I'm
me.
a big hit at prom.
For the 12th straight year.
Just saying. One of these
For
days
Penn
I'm going to be
State, they
king.
tell you to hit the showers.
Besides icing it and stretching, there are a couple of things a doctor might tell you to do if you have shin splints. Any other recommended treatments for your shin splints?
Massage.
Physical therapy, which
Rub and
includes
tug.
massage, yes.
Not
I can't, but
No?
we should be timing how long it takes you to wheel everything back to the same kind.
My clock is running to the 10th of a second, so it's
Yeah.
about 6/10 of a second at this point.
We're comics. It always eventually comes back to one thing.
It always comes back.
You know, taking
with me,
over
'cause I'm not
taking
good
over
stuff.
the counter painkillers is actually something you can do.
Oh yeah, everyone's like Tylenol or Advil.
Wearing
or
proper shoes is something you can do.
Crushing up a bunch of oxys and snorting them.
Yes.
Right.
Share them with the team if you do that, and the cheerleaders. Speaking of cheerleaders, the one other contributing factor to shin splints is being a woman. Women get shin splints more often than
So
men.
when the coach actually calls you a Mary, it's medical.
There's a
Right.
scientific
Yeah.
reason behind it.
I didn't
and,
know he was a science teacher too.
Because women can have complications like osteoporosis or thin bones.
Yeah.
Then when women get shin splints, it also has to be treated more seriously.
Sally Fields.
Yes.
See, so they really are the weaker sex.
Boniva.
Literally.
Their bone densities.
Their bone density is...
That's why that
good
dude
bone.
that's trying to fight in the UFC that had a sex change. It's a total dude, but just had a sex change.
It is true that also tall people, men or women, can get shin splints more because the tensile strength of the bones are different. The taller
I
you
find
are.
if you just don't run, you won't get them.
That's true, yeah.
That
If
is
you
the-
exert no physical effort whatsoever throughout your life, your shins, you'll always have good
Safe
shins.
shins.
That is the number one treatment for shin splints is
I'm
to
just-
never run and to really avoid walking as well.
That's why
Your
I put
shins are
on all
good,
this
aren't
weight.
they?
I'm
Yeah.
saving my
saving
shins
your
for
shin.
marriage.
If you spend a lot of time on the internet, Facebook, you'll actually see a lot of urban legend / information about people with red hair. And that got me curious to find out facts as opposed to internet legends about people with red hair.
I did find out redheads do wet the bed.
Wow.
Why were you looking into this?
Who in your household has red hair is what I want to know.
I dated a few.
I would just like to say that my research into redheads did not reveal any bedwetting complications associated with red hair.
You weren't as scary as mine.
Well, I suspect it was the alcohol intake that was causing the bedwetting.
Yeah,
and
not
the
the
red
color
hair
of
was
the
purely
hair.
coincidental.
I didn't put that into factor.
We'll have to do proper demographics of all your dating habits to get to the bottom of this. But to come back to redheads, red hair is caused by a change in the genetics. So some might say it's a mutation. Anyone have any idea
Those
how long
Irish.
ago that We'll get to the Irish in a moment, I promise. How long ago, the mutation occurred?
You mean there didn't used to be
So-
redheads?
Correct. And
Genghis
The-
Khan
the-
had red hair.
the original genetic color of hair is black, and then also dark-colored hair, dark brown and black. Blonde hair and red hair, as well as blue eyes, are all considered genetic mutations.
I'll tell you
I'm a
scientific fact.
mutant.
Redheads are good in bed. That's the truth.
They're crazy.
They're fiery, I'm telling you.
So wait, I have blue eyes. That means I'm a mutant. I can join the X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you had to put blonde streaks in your hair. You're a fake. You're a fake mutant.
Yeah.
half
You're a mutant wannabe.
I'm like the guy
You're
who
a gay
has,
mutant.
I'm the one with no good power.
Yeah.
What's your power? Blue eyes.
I am
I can stare at
Piercing
you really
blue
hard.
eyes.
hypnotizing women with my blue eyes.
Yeah.
I am not going to abandon the topic of red hair, but I will say an interesting fact about blue eyes, which for the listening audience at home, I also have blue eyes, is there's no such thing as blue pigments in people's eyes. The look of blue in your eye is actually an optical illusion caused by there not being pigments. And the sadness.
Rose, you're like albino eyes.
It's not full albino eyes, because people with the albino condition,
You are a freak.
their eyes come across as reddish because of the blood cells. It's more like the sky looks blue to us because of the way light is refracted through it, but the sky itself is not really blue. Well, blue eyes are not really blue.
Next thing you're going to say
either.
is there's no Santa Claus.
We will be covering Santa Claus on a future episode of Gold Star Classroom, so be sure to listen
on
in.
that one.
Yeah.
Santa Claus and his
We can
snake,
make that
the new
happen.
Christmas special.
Evidence
Sounds
of,
like a movie I'd watch.
It does.
like found hair, like on mummies or corpses, goes back about 4,000 years. But there's reason to believe, based on genetic analysis, that we've had red hair for about 100,000 years.
Wow.
That's
It's a good Kiss song. 1,000 years.
But wait, I thought the world was only 1,000 years old. Or 2,000
No, that's
years
now
old.
we're back to the Pentecostals again.
Yeah.
In Gold Star Classroom, the Earth is 4.6 something billion years old.
Nice.
Because that's the actual scientific answer. The term redhead has only been around since the 1500s. And you did mention Genghis Khan having red hair. That strikes me as an internet rumor. But I will say this, red hair does occur in all races. It is not only like a European or Caucasian feature.
Wow.
You can find Asian people and Polynesian people and African descent people with red hair.
Really?
But it's extremely rare outside of Caucasian populations.
Name
of,
one famous
go ahead.
red-haired Asian.
Do you have one in mind?
No, I'm just trying to...
You're the professor.
Yeah.
Genghis Khan.
No. Then mine is 10 points for trying to turn the tables.
Yeah.
But I will tell you
You're
this.
not allowed to ask questions in this
No.
classroom.
No.
He's trying to keep this under 30 minutes. Focus.
Focus.
Oh, yeah,
Focus.
I've been the problem.
My friend has a band called Genghis Khan Job. just a little
Well,
aside.
your friend gets 10 points.
Yeah. More metal points.
God, he's not even here and he's kicking my ass. This is bullshit.
In the world, taking in all sort of races and countries, what is the occurrence of red hair? Like, what percentage of the population has
Less
red
than
hair?
1%.
We have a vote for less than 1%.
Are we playing Price is Right rules?
We can. Are you
I'm
gonna go?
going with 2%.
Mark?
My favorite milk.
I want 5%.
Ding, 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 Don wins.
Of course!
Oh,
It is
Wiping the floor with you guys.
It's approximately 1%. How does that compare to blondes?
Wait,
Are
I
there more
thought you
redheads
meant
or
though
more
the
blonde?
people that dye their hair.
How does that compare to blondes?
Real
worldwide?
blondes or
Real blondes. Although I will say, because your question implies another good question, which is both red and blonde hair comes in a range of colors as well. There's lots of different types of red hair, lots of different types of blonde hair.
but real blondes, not some girl with
Yes.
jet black
No.
hair who dyes it.
No, we're not
No,
counting
she
dye
dyes
jobs.
the roots.
Yeah,
She's a
right.
blonde. She
Yeah.
dyes her roots black.
Yes.
I'm gonna say maybe about 10%.
I vote for 10%.
I think it's low.
Remember, we have redheads.
I think a
around
lot of these
1%.
broads
where
mislead
does
you.
strawberry blondes
I'm gonna
fall?
go 5%. Again.
I know, the strawberry
Yeah,
blonde
that's kinda
question,
tough.
that's reddish blonde.
I'm going to go 15.
15.
Going 5. I'm going low.
Well, you're smart to go low, although again, it's actually
Really?
1 to 2%.
That's it?
They're actual
'Cause
blonde.
remember, we're
Unless
talking-
you're in LA.
Well,
where they
again,
all are.
Yes. Well,
Yeah, but the curtain doesn't match the carpet.
and
Boom.
neither does Mark's.
That's right. You're a fake blonde.
Well, just so you guys know, I have hardwood floors.
Well, because worldwide is including Africa, Asia, Polynesia, so it comes out to 1 to 2%.
Yeah.
So it's considered more than redheads, but in the same range.
I haven't been to Polynesia in a while.
You should go, my friend.
Yeah.
Um,
I went to the Polynesian restaurant at Disney World a couple times. That's about as
Well,
close.
they probably had more blondes than that then. So that makes sort of black, brown, brunette hair is really like 97%.
Yeah, those are like real people.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the real people. Just to throw a curveball in, you brought up LA, and so let's ask the same question about the United States. How many blondes, natural, real blondes, are in the United States population?
Oh, man, it's going to be high. It's going to be like 30%.
30%? That 1 in 3 people are naturally blonde?
Oh, you shouldn't have done the math for him. Cause
I wish I could describe for the people at home the look in
25%.
Mark's eyes right
Yeah.
They're blue eyes.
now. His blue eyes. They have hypnotized me.
I'm going to stick with my around 10%.
I'm gonna stick with 15.
15. Do 25. I'm
25.
going high.
I'm going to say Bill's is the closest.
Man, I got one.
It is
Nice.
it's approximately 18% of
Really?
Americans have naturally blonde hair.
Wow.
And redheads. What percentage of Americans have naturally red hair?
10.
No.
I'll give you a confusing clue.
3%.
3%?
I'll go 7 then.
7%? You're gonna...
I'm going to go...
Oh, he gets to say it twice now?
Yeah, we've gone around.
I don't even remember.
You already
what
said
I
10.
I'll go with 10 because I hung out in Boston recently.
That's true, yeah. There's a lot of red up there.
There's a lot of, Irish in Boston.
Sure.
Sure.
Sure, I've heard.
Again, because of there's like a lot of varieties of red hair and how do you count and etc. But they give approximately 5%. Approximately 5%.
All right, so we
So
split
1
that
and
one.
20.
We split that one.
They each get half the points.
Damn it.
So
Yeah,
you each get half a point. I will say, even that modest number of around 5% generates about 10 to 15 million people, which means America is the country that has the most redheads in it. Though not
We're
per
number
capita.
one.
I'll tell you, a girl with red hair generates something in my pants. But I'm just saying,
Per capita?
per capita.
All right. And as promised, we are back to Ireland. Ireland and Scotland have the most number of redheads
Just islands
percentage.
full of mutants.
by per
Yeah.
capita.
Full
Pretty
of
much.
mutants.
All right. Well, now it just remains for me, your professor, to grade you, my students. But before I do, I'm going to give you each one more chance for extra credit points. And what that means is I'm going to go around, and you each get to contribute one more factoid or trivia point to the class. And if I deem it worthy, perhaps you get extra points. Which
Sweet.
student is ready to go first?
Jerry Jaffe is the Professor X of our mutant ability with the blonde hair and blue eyes. I'm just kissing his ass.
You are kissing his ass.
But the young Professor X who could still walk and get chicks and
Yeah,
stuff.
you're sexy,
Get
Professor X. You're Professor
Yeah.
Triple
In fact,
X.
on Rate Your Professor, I get 5 wheelchairs.
He's Professor Triple X.
Yes, I got 3 X's on Rate Your Professor.
I'll give you a factoid. Banana beer is very popular in Africa.
Have you had banana beer?
I have not. I don't like beer with flavors. I like beer to be beer flavored.
I was in a international beer bar in Tokyo that had about 500 different types of beer, and it was the first and last time I had banana beer.
And
Because it is as disgusting as you'd think it would
Yeah.
be.
Banana beer. I don't like bananas. Why
see that? See,
Yes.
I follow What the F Facts on Twitter, and I knew that. I knew that was going to pay off someday.
All right, Bill Boronkay, any extra credit points for you? Lay some knowledge on us, you handsome devil.
Come on,
You
Mr. Sports.
non-blue-eyed,
I know. How about that,
dark-haired, non-mutant.
I'm totally drawing a blank. I am not. I gotta get on. What the f on Twitter.
Yep, you sure do. You have no
I
sporting
am
facts.
thinking of no fact right now.
You have there's nothing interesting about the world you know.
I am a very blank man.
When a male fruit fly, this is a good one. A male fruit fly are rejected for sex. They turn to alcohol instead. They're just like us.
So
Male
you're
fruit
calling me
fly.
a fruit fly, huh?
I like that.
I do have to, however, warn Don that we don't allow cell phone use in class.
Well, I said I gave my fact without my cell phone. I'm just double checking that it was popular. Yes, in Eastern Africa, banana beer is very common. I have that starred. It's under favorites.
All right. Well, I've done some very complicated maths, Bill.
Yes.
I wouldn't understand all the algorithms and algebra that's involved in calculating.
Apparently, I'm not
trade.
allowed to question it.
And it remains for me to award today's class prize, the Golden Banana, to Don Jameson.
Hey!
You're only awarding him that because he has actual TV credits.
Kick ass.
Well, that is bonus points.
I think his friend who isn't here came in second.
And, yes. And he subscribes to better Twitter accounts than you do. You should be giving these facts.
I
So
get
that-
ass pick weekly.
It just remains for me, your host, Dr. Jerry Jaffe, to thank you, Bill, Mark, and Don for coming to today's class.
All right, good times.
All right, thank you.
Later, nerd. Give me the golden banana.
Gold Star Classroom is written and produced by Jerry Jaffe. Our producer and engineer is Stephen Gutierrez. Original music composed and produced by Jeff Geddert. Mr. Geddert is also our assistant producer. All commentary and opinions expressed by guests of Gold Star Classroom are meant for entertainment purposes only. For Gold Star Classroom, I'm Jerry Jaffe.